The soft clatter of cutlery and the low murmur of polite conversation filled the long oak dining table as my father stood, glass raised, wearing a self-satisfied smile. "Tonight," he began, his voice rich with pride, "we honor our true daughter, the successful one. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling us where you're from and which city you're watching this video from. And after you finish watching, share what you'd do in this situation, honestly. We read every comment. Let's get started." Applause erupted across the room. My mother dabbed at her eyes with a napkin, pretending to be moved. My sister, Emily, offered a small, modest smile, basking in the glow of their approval. I sat at the far end, quiet, feeling the weight of his words slice deeper than the crystal knives on the table. "Dad," Emily said, laughing softly. "You don't have to say that," he smirked. "Oh, I do," he replied. "The world needs to understand the difference between ambition and, well, wasted potential." His gaze landed on me like a dagger. Every eye followed. I could feel it: judgment, disappointment, the unspoken verdict, the one who married beneath her worth. Beside me, my husband Ryan remained composed, hand lightly resting on my knee beneath the table. His suit didn't scream wealth, but the quiet confidence he carried was authority in itself, something no one in the room recognized yet. Emily leaned forward. "So, what exactly do you do?" "Freelancing," I said, forcing a small smile as a few stifled laughs rippled around the table. "Oh, right," she said, nodding smugly. "Not all of us can be vice presidents at Parker and Hole." "Huh?" My father chuckled, tapping his glass. "Exactly. Emily, you've made this family proud. You've earned your place." My mother glanced at me for a brief moment before quickly looking away. That flicker of pity mixed with embarrassment cut sharper than words ever could. Ryan leaned in, voice low and dangerous. "You sure you want to sit through this?" I met his eyes and smiled faintly. "Oh, I want to see how far they'll go." The waiter arrived with champagne. Dad lifted his glass once more. "To Emily," he declared, "and to the company that made her who she is." Everyone cheered. Except Ryan. Except me. Laughter swirled around us, hollow and meaningless. Bitterness rose in my chest, memories flashing back. Years of comparisons, dismissals, replacements. I had been the daughter who dared to dream, who stumbled once and was never forgiven. Emily had always been the golden child. Perfect hair, perfect job, perfect parental pride. But perfection has a shelf life. Ryan's hand tightened around mine under the table. His lips brushed my ear, whispering, "Time to tell them we bought their company." For a moment, I froze. The room blurred around me. Forks clinked. My father laughed at something Emily said about corporate success. Then I turned to him, voice steady, almost sweet. "Dad," I began. He looked up mid-sip. "Funny thing about Parker and Hole," I continued. "It changed ownership last week." The laughter died instantly. "What are you talking about?" he asked, frowning. Ryan leaned forward, forearms on the table. "She means we bought it. Every share. Every asset." The air thickened. My sister blinked, confusion giving way to disbelief. "You're lying," she said. Ryan smiled faintly. "You'll find out Monday morning at your board meeting. We'll be there." My father's glass hit the table with a thud. "You what?" I leaned back, pulse racing. "You said you were proud of your real daughter. Maybe you should be careful who you call real, Dad. Turns out the one you overlooked just signed your paycheck." The silence that followed wasn't just awkward, it was poetic. Ryan casually lifted his champagne. To family. No one raised their glasses, but for the first time in my life, I didn't need them to. The next morning, the echo of last night's silence still lingered around me like smoke. My phone kept vibrating relentlessly. Missed calls from my father, a handful of unread messages from my sister. Ryan sipped his coffee, his face unreadable. "They'll come," he murmured. "People like that always show up. Pride won't let them stay quiet." Right on cue, the front gate camera pinged. My father's black SUV eased up the driveway, closely followed by Emily's pristine white coupe. I could already sense the storm about to enter our home. Ryan didn't flinch. He simply straightened his tie, composed and deliberate, as if this were just another routine meeting. A single, sharp ring of the doorbell. When I opened the door, my father stood there, red-faced, clutching a stack of papers. "You think this is funny?" he roared. "You walk into my house, humiliate me in front of everyone, and now you're spreading lies." "Lies?" I asked, stepping aside. "Come in. Let's discuss this calmly." Emily brushed past me, her perfume sharp and expensive. "Dad, don't waste your time. There's no way they bought Parker and Hull. The board would have informed me." Ryan leaned casually against the counter, unfazed. "Actually, they did. Check your email." She scoffed but pulled out her phone. The moment her eyes scanned the screen, all color drained from her face. The subject line read, "Ownership Transfer Notice, Parker and Holt Enterprises." This can't be real," she stammered. "It's very real," Ryan said smoothly. "The previous chairman retired. We offered a buyout he couldn't refuse. You'd be surprised how many doors open when people are treated decently." My father turned to me, voice shaking with rage. "You planned this behind my back." I met his gaze. "You made sure I had nothing to lose, remember? You laughed when my small design startup failed. You said I'd never understand business. So I learned, quietly, efficiently." He slammed the folder onto the counter. "You think this makes you better than us?" "No," I said steady. "It makes me free." Emily spun toward me, tears threatening. "You couldn't stand that I finally. I cut her off. "You spent years treating me like a punchline. You and Dad built a wall between us the moment success knocked on your door. You didn't want family, you wanted an audience." Ryan stepped forward, calm but sharp. "For what it's worth, Emily, we didn't buy the company to destroy you. We bought it to rebuild what your father almost ruined with arrogance and favoritism." My father's jaw tightened. "You don't talk to me like that." Ryan didn't raise his voice. "You spent your life confusing fear with respect. That ends now." The room went quiet. I looked at my father, the man who once told me dreams don't pay bills, that love was weakness, that my worth depended on my usefulness to him. For the first time, I didn't see power. I saw panic. "Dad," I said quietly, "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to show you what happens when someone refuses to stay small." He stared at me, eyes darting between the contract papers and my face. Then, without a word, he turned and left. Emily followed, whispering over her shoulder, "You'll regret this." When the door slammed, the silence felt heavier, but not suffocating. It was clean. Ryan wrapped an arm around my waist. "You handled that perfectly." I exhaled slowly, watching their cars vanish down the street. "It's strange," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "How peace doesn't always feel peaceful at first." "Give it time," he said. "Tomorrow's the board meeting. That's when the Real storm begins." The boardroom hummed with quiet tension. Glass walls framed the city skyline, morning sunlight slicing through steel and shadow. The Parker and Hull logo shone on the far wall, but today it no longer belonged to my father or sister. Hand in hand, Ryan and I stepped inside together. The board members, all impeccably dressed, turned toward us with wary curiosity. Some offered polite smiles. Others avoided eye contact entirely. They had already received the official notice. Ownership had officially shifted. At the far end of the long mahogany table sat my father and Emily. His expression was pure fury. She looked frantic. Both clung to the illusion that they were still in control. Ryan broke the silence first. "Good morning, everyone. As of last Friday, my wife and I are the majority shareholders of Parker and Hull. Thank you for your time." Emily slammed her pen down. "You can't just stroll in here and act like you own this place." Ryan arched an eyebrow. "We're not acting like we own it, Emily. We actually do." A quiet ripple of laughter passed through the room. A few executives shifted, trying to hide their smirks. My father's glare could have carved through stone. He rose to his feet, his voice thunderous. "You don't understand what you've done. This isn't a game. I've spent 30 years building this company." I met his gaze evenly. 30 years of promoting your favorites, favoring your daughter, and running everyone else into the ground. You built an empire on humiliation. "Dad, I'm just here to fix the mess." He stepped forward, his voice low and venomous. "You think you can run a corporation? You couldn't even run your own life." Ryan stood beside me, calm and precise. She rebuilt her life from nothing. That's more than you've ever done. Emily turned toward the board, her voice shaky. You all know me. I've kept this company profitable. Are you really going to let an outsider come in and take over everything? The CFO cleared his throat. Actually, Emily, with all due respect, the company's profits have declined for 3 straight quarters. Her face went pale. What? I leaned forward, hands resting on the table. I know, because I've been watching from the outside for a long time. You spent money on lavish offices, bonuses for friends, and left your employees underpaid. That stops today. My father clenched his fists. So what now? You're going to fire us? I paused, then said calmly no. I'm not you. The room fell silent again. Even Ryan looked at me, surprised but proud. I don't need to humiliate you, I continued. You'll stay on as consultants for 6 months. Enough time to show the next generation how not to destroy a company from within. Emily's voice cracked. You're doing this to hurt me. No, I said softly. I'm doing this so you finally understand what it feels like to be on the other side of someone else's arrogance. My father sank back into his chair, quiet now. The weight of everything he had lost seemed to hit him all at once. Ryan addressed the board again, steady and composed. Effective immediately, there will be a restructuring plan. New priorities, fair pay, employee safety, and ethical management. My wife will lead the transition. Applause spread through the room, hesitant at first, then stronger, as if everyone had been waiting for this moment for years. I looked around, a sense of calm settling over me, not triumph, but peace. For years, I had wanted to prove them wrong. Now that I realized I didn't need their approval. I just needed to stop chasing it. When the meeting ended, I walked past my father without saying a word. He didn't look up. Emily sat frozen, staring at her phone, scrolling through messages from coworkers who had already shifted their loyalty. Ryan opened the door for me. You okay? He asked. I smiled faintly. Better than ever. We stepped into the sunlight, and for once it didn't feel harsh, it felt earned. 2 weeks later, the headlines were everywhere. New leadership at Parker and Hull promises reform. Female owner restores humanity to the company. Reporters called nonstop. Investors returned. Employees were smiling again as they walked through the hallways. But success doesn't mute envy, it magnifies it. That evening, as the city lights blinked beyond our penthouse window, an unfamiliar number flashed on my phone. I almost ignored it until I recognized the voice. Congrats, sis, Emily said, her tone thick with malice. Do you really think they care about you? The board, the staff, the media. You'll stumble again, just like before. And when that happens, I'll be there to remind everyone who the true heir is. I let out a soft sigh. You're wearing yourself out, Emily. Try enjoying peace for once. You stole my life, she spat. My position, my respect. No, I interrupted, calm yet firm. You lost them. All I did was stop pretending you deserve them. She hung up. Ryan glanced up from his laptop. Trouble. Just old ghosts trying to cling to relevance, I murmured, placing my phone face down. But I should have known Emily wasn't finished. The next morning, my assistant burst into my office, face pale. Ma'am, you need to see this. She handed me a tablet. A video played. A falsified news report accusing me of fraud, claiming the buyout was illegal. Lies meticulously edited and spread across every major social platform. Ryan arrived moments later, jaw tight. She did it. I felt my pulse steady, not from fear, but determination. Then we handle it properly, I said. By noon, I called an emergency press conference. Cameras flashed as I entered, head held high, voice calm. False stories spread quickly when the truth challenges fragile egos. I began speaking. Facts speak louder than rumors. I presented proof, every transaction, every legal clearance, every signed agreement. The audience watched the truth unfold in real time. Documents, timestamps, even a clip of the former chairman himself saying, it was her integrity that convinced me to sell. Reporters murmured. Cameras clicked like rolling thunder. And there, in the back, I saw her, Emily, sunglasses hiding her eyes, jaw trembling. I didn't flinch. Family can be complicated, I said, letting the words hang. But family also teaches us the cost of pride. This company isn't about revenge. It's about rebuilding something honest. The room erupted in applause. Emily turned and slipped away before the cameras could catch her face. Later, stepping outside, the air felt lighter. Ryan met me on the steps, his smile quiet but full. You didn't just win, he said. You transformed. I gazed at the skyline, the same city that once chewed me up and mocked my failure. Funny, I whispered. I used to think success meant beating them. Now I know it means never becoming them. That evening, as we sat on the balcony, Ryan handed me a small velvet box. Inside was not jewelry, it was a new building, he said, for your own company, one that carries your name. You heard this. My chest tightened, not with pride, but something genuine. And Parker and Holt? I asked. He smiled. You saved him. Now let it stand on its own. You don't need their shadow. For a long moment, I looked out over the city. 1,000 windows glowing against the night. Each one a reminder of lessons learned the hard way. Silence can hold power. Kindness can cut deeper